I think this could be a valid way for us to shoot a video, right? Do we need more light? Uh, I don't know. I want to, maybe I'll check with another video later. Who the fuck knows? But anywho, hi. How are we? How was everything? Today's video is average or normal, or average versus normal, I guess, right? That's how we approach things. Average versus normal. And let's start with a bit of Googling. Does average mean? What does normal mean? Right? What does normal mean? And so we are connected. So there's something that's fairly. My bad, we're not connected. Ah. Okay, there is. I feel like normal conforming with adhering to or constituting a norm. While average is an intermediate level or degree, as usual, an ordinary kid or quality. So it seems like normal is what we would call the natural way. So normal is a lot more an attribute to what it is, whilst average is an attribute to how it is. So you being average is how you are being, but you being normal is what you are being. Oh, okay, amazing. All right, so I am trying to find a pen in order to write it down. How and what? There is no pen. What the fuck? I moved it earlier. So average is how you're being and what. I do not like any of them, by the way. I do not like the concept of normalcy because, like, no, I maybe I learned that after I started studying software engineering. But normalizing something is kind of like reducing it into its most simplistic form. Now, again, that in truth could be because, like, to normalize something, that means you truly understand it. But truly understanding something that way is a result of شو اسمه, could only be attributed of understanding something in a way that it becomes normal can only be attributed to the lack of our own creativity in exploring it more. So normal seems to be more of an acceptance. When you're acting normal or when you're being normal, that means you're kind of like accepting something around that normalcy. Whilst when you're being average, you're just acting in a way that's very, I think average is closer to mediocre. And that is a structure that kind of like builds. What am I trying to think about, Tariq? Come on. Like you wrote down average versus normal, and you're barely 5 minutes in. I'm barely 5 minutes in. Well, what can we talk about? Normal. Normal is the accepted form of something. Like what you're doing is normal. It's not normal. But when you go like what you're doing is average, that means whatever it is that you're doing is literally that is the level of contribution, right? Or that's basically the level of acknowledgement that you get. I don't know. Can we do something normal in an unaverage way? Fuck yeah. Can we do something average in an unnormal way? Fuck yeah.
or something abnormal with an average way. Hey, in this case, something could be both average and done in an average way, but something normal and done in a normal way as well kind of works. Just doing it normally, but normally probably sucks, or probably the reason why there is no. I don't know what I'm talking about, man. I wanted to make a video out of this. And it feels like my own discrepancy is kind of like both these words suck because both of them are kind of like linked by mediocrity, right? When something is normal, that means for a while, it stops becoming original. And it's the same as like wanting to get married, and then like a week after you get married, or a month or a year after you get married, you're married now. So like marriage life is normal. Forget the fact that she was the love of your life, right? Now look at where you are. And I don't know. I think normal allows us to take something for granted, and average removes the power of appreciation from something, right? Like have no, even things that are average could very much be appreciated. But like in order for you to be able to notice beyond the average, that's when you're able to appreciate them. Get it? So the thought process is very much how does this world utilize the average and the normal? How does exactly are we doing? What exactly is this process that we're discussing? I don't know. Why did I earlier mention mediocrity connects both of them? They kind of feel like a triangle, right? There's average and there's normal and there's mediocre. And if you're average and normal, you're mediocre. If you're mediocre and average, then you're normal. If you're mediocre and normal, then you're average, right? It kind of feels like there's a triangle there somewhere. But I am speaking out of my ass, though this kind of like makes sense if I kind of write it down. So it seems like we are the average of one of these two choices, depending on the attributes that we have. So you're either mediocre, average, or normal, or you're both or all three. So if you're average and normal, then technically you're mediocre. If you're average and mediocre, then technically you're normal. So what is all of them? What labels? If you are an average human being that does normal shit in a very mediocre way. Holy shit. Why is exactly see that no, you're an average human being that does normal shit. I did not say you're a normal person that does average shit, but that works as well. But why did I use that? I have no idea. In a very mediocre way, as in like, how do I do things very average? What do I do? Something very normal. And then who? The mediocrity is the attitude, right? So if we who, what, no, you can't say where. Or really, is these two? Okay, no. I think yes. I think who is the normal. You are normal, or whatever. And there's also a who there. Then there's how, what, and who. See, see how it's become, right? Average versus normal. It's changed from the beginning till now. But the ultimate idea is that we are. If somebody is average and does normal shit in a very mediocre way, what is that combination? I definitely want to know that combination. I don't know. If there any chance somebody watching this, please let me know. Thank you. And it's a video. I love you guys. Bye.